I think sometimes people may look at your large building now and your large workforce and think, wow, that Dick and Jeff, they're really sharp, and look at what a big business that is, and that like it was kind of easy. Would you describe it as having been an easy road?
No, we've always felt that it's been easy. There's been some problems. There's no question about that. But as far as it being hard, I guess the fact that we were interested and were enjoying it to a degree made it maybe seem easier.
What do you think Innova has meant to your employees and to their families?
I would like to think that they think it's stability, because we have, it's odd too that you ask that, because there comes a point when you have a business, I think, you realize that you start out and your goal is to make this business run so that you can make a living and make some money. And eventually you get to the point where you realize that your business is a means to support your investment in people. And so you realize that eventually what your job is to provide employment for people that maybe don't have the wherewithal or the knowledge or maybe even the desire to go out and have their own business. But somehow they need a job. And so your position becomes one of being an employer more than being a businessman.
I would want to know how you feel the profits of Innova have been utilized and what it may have meant to the community.
A lot of our profits have gone back into building in the business. To building the business larger creates more opportunity for more people to work there. There's a point where you can look at your business and say, and Jeff has said it, if we had 3 lasers and 4 or 5 really good people and concentrated on doing these particular things, we could all be making a lot of money without a lot of stress at all. But I don't think we were ever meant to do that. I think we were meant to do just what we're doing now. We know of companies that have actually done that, and in this economy they've faltered. They've had a lot of issues, and so I think that the profits, naturally they go into raises, they go into paying for health care, they go into vacations, personal time for the people. You try to take care of them the best you can. And but investing in more equipment and expanding our operations into being a more well-rounded shop that can take a product from start to putting it into a cardboard box and shipping it to a customer. That's what we've evolved into, instead of somebody just making a few parts that get handed to somebody.
Why do you use the profits of Innova in our community?
Well, the community provides the people. Without the people, Innova isn't much of a business. It's just a handful of guys out there that are stumbling around trying to figure out how to get some things done. But the community is what makes life in a business like yours or ours available, because you need those resources. You need the people. You need the support of the city itself, and the government of the city. All those things are necessary if you're going to make a business run well. So I feel as though that that's one of the key things, and I've liked about being in Fergus, because the relationship we've had with the community has been really good. Even though we really don't do much business in town, most of our business comes from elsewhere.
What do you think is the key personal trait that you and Jeff have had to make this business successful? And it could be more than one.
We struggled through a period of time with the business where we didn't have an operating line. And in the beginning, banking was real good. We could do just about anything we wanted. But all of a sudden, money got tight in the early 2000s. And we lost our credit line, basically. It was all used up, and there was no way to expand it. There was no way to get it paid down. And so we basically ran without a credit line for probably a better part of 3 years. And over that period of time, we were growing some years by $1 million in sales a year, which is difficult to do out of your back pocket. But Jeff's ability to handle these things, the good vendors we had, the bankers that we dealt with, I guess we always paid our bills, so it didn't really make any difference what the banker thought. But nevertheless, they had their restrictions on them, so they couldn't do much more for us. But one of our employees said one day, And it's probably something I'll remember for a long time. He said, it's been a struggle, he said, but we're going to get to the end of the year and our integrity is still going to be in place.
Tell me what America means to you, Dick. You're obviously operating in the free enterprise system here and operating in America. What does that mean to you?
Well, it's an opportunity is what America means more than anything to me. I have another son who's married to a sweet gal from Switzerland. And when we talked about that we were going to start a business, her father was absolutely blown away with the idea that you could just decide to start a business and do this, because over there it has to be fostered by somebody else, and you don't just go and do those things. But here, realizing that no matter where we came from or what we did before, you could actually put your neck on the line and go out and start a business and be successful at it if you worked hard at it and if you kept your integrity and treated your employees well. I worked for a lot of people over the years. Besides in the family business, I had other jobs too. And when we started, I thought, if I treat people the way I would have liked to have been treated, they should probably like that, because I was a pretty average guy. And I think that has paid off. I think it's paid off well.
Where do you hope America goes in the next decade?
I'd like to see it go back a decade to what things were going on in the late 90s, the prosperity that was running then. I don't see any reason why it couldn't be doing that again, other than the fact that there's been probably a ton of government interference in our lives. Scale that back into something and let us do our own thing. I think that America can go back to being that, but it's going to take some time. But that's what I'd like to see. Then that opportunity still lays out there for other people.
Would you encourage young people who have some desire to have their own business? Would you say, do it, go for it? And what advice would you give them?
I would say, sure, try it. I mean, it's do your homework. Do your homework and make sure that you know exactly what you're getting into, exactly what it's going to cost, how you're going to make money, and look at yourself internally and see, what am I going to do about this? How am I going to deal with this? How am I going to deal with that? If you know all those things going in, you won't be surprised by anything. And a person should try. I would think it might be a smart idea to try a little younger than what I started out, though.